Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this plans for the YouTube channel for the Engineering Bay for 2025. It's another year, and with another year that brings many different things, but I'd like to give people an idea of what I've been thinking about, what I want to do, some potential changes, just sort of things going forward, some general ideas going forward into this new year that we have. At this point I would have done a review of 2024 and some of my sort of thoughts on the channel there, and for the most part I'm very positive about the whole thing still, and I'm looking forward to seeing where 2025, what that brings. There is one major thing that's happening in 2025 most likely, and that is going to be the Switch 2 or whatever that ends up being called, and that is something that I want to do a lot of focus on, but we'll get to that. Let's go through. I've got a list of a few things here that I want to talk about and explain, and just let you guys know that this is where my head is and what I'm thinking about. In 2025, I want to spend time at points working on videos maybe for a bit longer, improving some quality, you know, just giving videos that need that extra bit of love, essentially. And what that might mean, and something that I have to accept and not be so hard on myself, is that, look, this is still a tiny channel in comparison to big YouTube channels. Like, a lot of the time and effort I put into it, people aren't gonna people that are gonna unsubscribe are gonna unsubscribe. I just have to accept that. But people that are gonna stick around can wait, you know, a week for a video. You know, if there are things that pop up, or I need more time to do stuff. And this is looking at YouTubers that I follow that sometimes just delay their videos by a week because of real life stuff. Then I need to think more like that, in the sense that if I've got a video project that I'm working on and I'm really focused on it at that time, I don't want to put out some half-baked content just to cover it, really. So what I'm getting at here is that if there is videos that I wish to spend more time on, there might be points where we might go through, let's take the month of February. There might not be a lot for the month of February, but suddenly there's a lot of content for the month of March. And the reason for that is because I've gone, hey, actually, no, I'm going to work on this, I'm going to work on this, and I want to put these out in a better state, whether that be written or the type of videos that I want to try and create. And what that means is, at some points you might get less videos, and at other points you might get more videos. Excuse me. I've tried to stick to a strict 2 videos a week kind of thing, and that kind of fell off towards the end of the year, and it varies, but that's generally what I'm like, 2 videos a week for a YouTube channel this size. I think that's more than fair, just to try and stick out a couple videos for people to watch. I think realistically, if I had more time, it would be 3 videos but like, ultimately, let's just go with a couple of good videos for people to watch. But I do think that means that, thinking about it, there might be something that I want to do that's scripted. That's going to take more time and effort, and when it comes to that, I'm like, I need to accept that if something's going to take more time and it's going to be better at the end of it, then sod it. That means that there's no videos this week, but there will be something that's actually worth people's time the week after. Then that's something I'm going to be doing. So that's some kind of thought process going forward. Part of that will be looking at my back catalogue. Now, I started playing a lot more games last year that were in my back catalogue, and I think the back catalogue of games is going to play a bigger part in the channel this year. What I mean by this is there's a couple of different points I want to make, and one is related to money, but we'll get to that side of things later on. For me to focus on the newer releases, like if I want to do something like, for example, I want to cover Donkey Kong Returns HD. I want to do a video on that. I'd love to stream it around the time it comes out. I want to do content on that game. That's a game that I really like. I really like the Wii version. So, you know, I have to pick and choose where my money's going to go with these big games. Now, because of Christmas sales, because of Steam sales, because of stuff that's on Switch, it does mean that I can pick up games on the cheap as well. So what I would like to do is have a look at a lot of games that I have not played. I have a ton of games on my Switch that I have properly not played, and I'm sick of them sitting there and me buying these games, because I'm trying to build a physical Switch collection, but I'm sick of me not playing them. And so what that means is that this year I'm going to spend a lot of time playing a lot more of these games that I've bought. Yes, I'm still going to cover some of the releases that come out. You know, whenever the Switch 2 comes out, like, I will be covering games on that. I'll be covering games on PC, you know, on the things that I have access to, essentially. But there's a lot of games that I haven't played, and again, we'll get to that stuff in a minute. But I'm going to use that as a way of creating content, because I want to give my thoughts on some of these games. Some of these games are very old. Some of these games, you know, might be 10 years old. Some might be 5 years old. There's stuff that came out last year on the Switch that I didn't play. Like there's just a ton of things that I want to get to. I want to sit down and play and enjoy. Now that doesn't mean that I'm going to enjoy every single one of those games. It doesn't mean that I'm going to complete every single one of those games. But I need to be able to, for my own sanity, say I have played all the games that I have bought and continue working through my Switch back catalogue and my Steam back catalogue. And I'm trying to do that going forward. So what you're going to see throughout this year is a lot more of the older games as well as newer stuff. There's going to be a bigger mix, as well as other videos as well. There's still going to be retro reminiscences. There's still going to be music, like video game music videos, stuff like that. Like that stuff, nothing's really going to change. It's just you're going to see more of like older games popping up and games that I you know, have bought and haven't played. And I think that's something that people need to accept. Because, yeah, you know, games aren't cheap unless it's in a sale and things. So that is something that I would definitely be doing more of. So, because of that, let's talk about what some of these games are and live streams. In the past, I've done Mass Effect, Cyberpunk, I can't think of what else, but a couple of other games. Star Wars, Fallen Order. Games where I'll stream maybe like 2 to 4 hours of like my very first experience with those games, so that people can have a natural reaction to it. That is my way into doing some of these bigger games. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not going to then, because what I like to do is do the live stream and then go away, play more of the game, come back. You know, 10 hours I think is a reasonable amount for a lot of games. The ones I'm planning on doing are very big games, and 10 hours might not be enough, but that's kind of my get a vibe for the game. You know, some of them I'll probably go on to complete, but the sort of big games we're talking about me covering, we're looking at things like I've never played Skyrim, I've not played Starfield, and I own those games. We've got Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor. There's a couple of games I want to do. There's Just Cause 3. There's a ton of big games. Now I'm not going to get to all of them, and not every single game is going to be big. There are smaller. Those are just the ones that pop to my head. But you know, I need to finish Mass Effect 2. I'd like to do Mass Effect 3. So there's a lot of games that I want to cover and I want to look at, and because of that back catalogue that I want to get to. So this year I do plan on playing some bigger games, even possibly The Witcher 3. I'm not sure on that one yet. Like, I want to play it. I've not played it. But these are the things that I will be looking at doing with first time streams. Possibly one a month. I don't want to make any promises at the moment because I just don't know. But maybe every couple of months we'll be looking at something big. I don't want to burn myself out on just big open world games. I want to mix it up. But like I said, I sit there, I look at my back catalogue and I think, Christ, I've got these games, I need to play them. This will include smaller games as well. You know, anything that's like that I have and I've not played, there'll definitely be featured on it. I am just going to see how much I can do within reason, without burning myself out, without running myself into the ground, looking at, you know, games that I haven't played before and letting people see a first time experience and kind of getting that vibe for it, and then also doing other content based around it when I've put more time in. So that's something that is also going to be quite heavy focused this year. Now I've already talked about the Switch 2. That is something that I will plan on covering in depth. I will be saving up the pennies, making sure that I can have one day one, whenever it might be, with whatever games come out. I won't get all the games, but maybe a couple of them, so I can cover them and do stuff for this channel. That is going to be a crazy time whenever that happens, but I do believe that people will want to see that. And the hardest part with that is that if I go all in on Switch 2, people are going to potentially expect a lot of Switch 2 content. So we shall see, but I'm very excited for whatever Nintendo has next. I've been following the rumors. I don't want to believe any of it until it's actually official. But if we get a chance to talk about the hardware and I get a chance to talk about the games and stuff like that, I'm definitely going to be there day one and I'm definitely going to cover it. The last point that I want to address going forward is that I want to see what content people actually want on this channel and how best to do content like that while also doing the same stuff that I like making. This isn't a case of going, hey, I'm going to make the content that you guys want. Like, unfortunately, this is a channel that I run with the guys. I might do the majority of it, but it's stuff that I enjoy doing. It's the stuff that they enjoy doing. I am not going to start asking people what they want to see and only make that content. That's just not going to happen. That's not a realistic thing to expect, essentially. But I do think it's important that if Opinion Machine is the sole thing about this channel that people come here to watch, then I need to mingle that in as the main thing, the main course, if you will, and then the side orders be things like Retro Reminisce, any of the music stuff. Because if I don't want to do a hell load of music stuff and then suddenly nobody wants to watch it, so I've got to sprinkle it in as is and figure out best way to do that. I genuinely would like some feedback. If people watch this video and want to know and like the content about, please just say in the comments. If it's the retro content, I will try to do a better job doing that. If it's Opinion Machine and it's more on like games in general and like thoughts and, you know, or if it's stuff, you know, is this game any good now? Like, if I go back and play Cyberpunk, is it better now? You know, do I still feel the same way about it? If it's stuff like that that people find useful, even the hardware review, like if it's controllers and stuff like that, if people just say, hey, like, I like this video you did, I think these kind of videos work, great, let me know. I will try to do some stuff like that. But ultimately, I'm not going to make the channel entirely about that one thing. But having feedback is a massive help in knowing what people do enjoy and what people are willing to stick around for. I know that this channel is very variety heavy, and that can be a bit of a detriment to the channel as a whole. But I'm not going to pigeonhole myself as one thing. Like yes, I cover a lot of Nintendo, but I'm not just a Nintendo channel. Like, it's a gaming channel. It's, you know, I want to look at retro stuff from all walks of life. I want to like cover Dreamcast and like PlayStation and things like that as well. Like old, that sort of retro, and then newer stuff with like PC. So there's a lot there. I think I'll just keep, as of right now, I'm just going to keep making all the things that I think that people want to watch and all the things that I enjoy making, and go from there, really. And then but remember, feedback is really important, and I do appreciate it. Some of it will always be negative, and that's just how it has to be. But I know that there are many comments that people have made, and very respectful comments on some of my videos, like the Hollow Knight one, for example, in the past, where people are like, okay, cool, fair enough. And I think it's cool that people can be like that, and I would love to see more like that. Ultimately, these 5 points are kind of my thought process going into 2025. I want to make the channel, put it in the best position possible. That is continuing to do the things that I love and enjoy. And I'll be honest, I go in waves sometimes. Sometimes I do get a little bit like, oh, I need some time off. I've had that with December, just to sit down and play some games and be like, hey, I want to talk about this stuff. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about at the moment, so which is a good problem to have. And, you know, Civ 7's on the horizon, Donkey Kong's just around the corner. There's stuff that's coming, so it's going to be a chaotic year, but ultimately, these are the things that I am looking to do. I hope that people are looking forward to that. Yes, I want to go back and do Smash content. Yes, I want to do this, but it's time and effort in finding, you know, fitting it all in. But ultimately, that's where the channel is going to be heading. I also want to do stuff on the back end, like still improve thumbnails. I need to sit down and do that for some of the older videos. And just make the channel just a smoother experience. Hopefully that's been the case with better playlists and stuff like that. I also have a playthrough of Splinter Cell Conviction at some point that will go up. I don't know when I'm going to use it, but I have got one, and I was planning on putting it up in December, but in the end I'm like, actually I can hang on to this, I can improve some things with it. And that's a good example of like, hey, I could have put it out in its current form, but I can go back and improve it and make that a bit better for the viewing experience. So I think I'm going to do that. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today then, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see more content, hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description as always. And until next video, I will see you then.